Welcome to this particular topic show. I am your host, CP. And today's topic, this black woman in this marriage vows, when she hears the words for richer, oh, yeah, 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 yay, or for poor, wait a minute now for a second, and then obey, wait a minute, we got to talk about this, talking about obey. Then she has a major problem, like a meltdown. And I'm looking at this like, when are more men, when are especially numbers within American black maleism in modern day going to stop settling for blatant disrespect from numbers of certain ones within black womanism? The ones applies to, especially the Sister of Chaos members, right? Because remember the old tired archaic mantra of happy life, happy wife. And again, I'm like, and they quiet when that mantra is blurred out left and right. What? Happy life, happy wife. Yay! That's right. But the minute you start talking about obey, they're like, right? You say, wait a minute. So it's no problem with a man, but especially a black man in America, to spend his resources, to put his life on the line at beckons call, to sit there and fix things on the house. He can't really fix nothing. You're missing no point, but you expect him to sit there and foot the bill to have it fixed. Oh, you need some tires in your car? Oh, you're in a relationship with a man? How many times do you think a wife was gonna be like, yeah, I'm in the marriage with my husband, but I don't care. I'm gonna still spend money on my tires. Oh, I got some situation. I got to do some oil changing, or I got to do some some brake situations, or I got to get something repaired. Oh, you know what? I ain't worried about that. I do it myself. Or I use my own money. I'm not worried about my husband's resources. Do you understand? They be like, They be like, But the minute you say, hey, you know what? Hey, baby, but I need you to cook a little bit more, and because we need to save a little bit more money, and yeah, I see you don't watch as much as you used to, but I need you to, watch a little bit more, and some other different things. What's she gonna do then? That's what you're gonna do when some of these numbers of males within these relationship marriages, and certain numbers of black American men in these marriages with these per se black women, the ones applies to, but especially the Sister of Chaos members, which unfortunately there are some numbers of males, certain numbers of American black males, once applies to, the ones that are sometimes gullible. And these relationships just on looking at the woman for her looks, and that really depends too on that part, right? But then again, when that man, but especially that American black man, say, hey, baby, again, you know what? I mean, we're not doing as much as we used to. We're not having intimate relations like we used to, but you still expect us to go out. You expect me to date you and stuff like that. But what am I getting in return for all these kind of things? She look at him like, right? So this is why I say more males, but especially American black men, must have a more stand up in their confidence. Do you understand on that situation? Because unfortunately, within American black maleism, modern day, the confidence is dwindling left and right. Watch this for a second.
Worth is non-negotiable. Never settle for anything or anyone that diminishes
it. Let me rewind that part. And if more males, but especially more black American males, pre-relationships or during relationships, made it clear that, look, this is not going to be one-sided.
Your self-worth is non-negotiable. Never settle for anything or anyone that diminishes
it. What if more males, but especially more black American males, literally took that in heart and said yes? But unfortunately, it ain't that many. Because Far played this main clip relating to, it's only not too long, relating to this particular black woman that had a breakdown, right? That had a crash out in mentality. And when she heard the words for Richard, not that part, they love that part, but the word poor, wait a minute now, poor, I ain't getting married to be poor, right? I surely didn't got to be married to my obey. Oh my goodness, that's not like slavery. When you see how that goes, see, that's modern day feminism talk. That certain number, well, quite a number within American black womanism, modern day, right? That practice that knockiness of black feminism, nonsensical behavior, which only is a copy of Anglo feminism. Do you understand that? And so when somebody numbers of these certain type black women, but especially the sister of cast member, sit there copy that nonsensical internal hate-filledness mantra toward numbers of their males within the Panamanian culture, mostly that they use anyway, and got numbers of some of these black women, but especially the sister of cast members, when they sitting there slooping up that same hateful mantra that they do to their own numbers of males within the Panamanian culture. This is what numbers of these type feminists within various parts of Panamanian culture do. This is how they look at those type of illogical type of black women once applies to specifically sister of cast members. This is what they do. Right? I mean, the nonsense, because it should be so easy to see through this kind of stuff. But it's like this. You know what? Before I show this video, like this for a second. Like in a relationship, it's funny, but it's not funny. But these kind of things can't be shown enough. Let me go back here. Where'd it go? Right. Hold on. It's like when either marriage or pre-marriage or just regular relationship, how many certain numbers of women, and especially how many certain numbers of black women once applies to, and especially the sister of cast members, when they want to sit there and coerce thought patterns and control their man, right? Even when that man is right, how many numbers of the same women, right, in marriages or in regular relationships, how many times they do this?
Everything that man's fault. Even it don't matter what you do, you need to be able to flip it back on him. Whatever it is, I promise you it can be turned into his fault. He needs to think that everything that's wrong is because of him. And I'm telling you, it's gonna get you everything you want every time. It never fails. This is
what? I'm like, what? To argue is illogical in a marriage. Not talking about disagreements, but to argue, I don't think so, right? But especially when you grow in your mentality, you say to argue with a wife, to argue with, say, not a wife, but a relationship, to argue now with certain numbers of women, especially numbers of black women, the ones applies to, especially sister of cast members, to argue with them, you are crazy in modern day. How many numbers of women out there still out there? That numbers of men would have confidence in themselves, do not have to settle. You crazy, right? So let me go ahead and share my screen and relay this. Oh, and by the way, well, I don't do that. If I say Richard for poor, never mind on that one. Something else. There we go right here. And I want to also read some comments on the side, unless I forget. But let me go ahead and play this particular clip. But again, numbers of men, but especially numbers of black American men in marriages or non-marriages are supposed to sit there and obey whatever the wife or girlfriend say and be quiet and use their resources and be quiet and put their lives in the line for that wife or girlfriend and be quiet. But at the same time, right, when this particular black woman is asked to sit there and say, hey, obey the husband, she has a meltdown. When the officiant says, hey, you know what, for rich or poor, she has a meltdown. Do you understand? The poor part, she has a meltdown. But if the man had a meltdown, they'd be like, oh my goodness, he's being sexist. He's trying to control black women. He hated his black mama. What if his mama ain't black? God, these people play these games.
For better.
For better.
For worse.
For worse.
For richer.
For richer.
For poor.
For poorer.
Yeah. We hit that snag about 20 times in counseling. Bria made it very clear to Jonathan, you cannot be broke.
The insultingness of that. Well, she made it clear that he can't be broke. Oh, so she can be broke. He can make more money than her, but it's okay for that, right? I'm gonna show you a clip in a little bit, lest I forget. Well, whoever this particular black man on this reporting, oh man, that was gold knowledge that he gave in a response to this particular Sister of Chaos member who was just parakeeting certain situations of black feminist nonsense. But they expect a black man to do whatever they want. What some nonsense. So let me read some of these comments on the left, on the right side. Quite interesting on this. Hold on, let me give me a second here. I don't like that right there. Give me a second here. Oh, wrong way. Let me go up here. These women today are as sad as, you know what? Are people this desperate to get married? Make sure my mute is good. Okay, good. Mute is off. Run, brother, run. How are you in counseling before you even get married? Okay. So she want your money and not going to listen to anything you say. Run. Let me repeat this again. So she want your money, right? And to put his life on the line when she wants to, right? Regardless, and not going to listen to anything he says. It's all fun and games for now. This was sad. These are mostly males, right? What an idiot. Cherish or submit, but obey. My great-grandparents had separate rooms, so let's focus on the future. Okay, that's all over the place. That's old time. Let's not Leave It to Beaver days. Our father knows best, or the Waltons. Those times are long gone. Women are loving themselves each day, and I'm here for it. Go, girl. Black girl power. Or black women of color power. And numbers of black women, Sister of Chaos members getting played every day on that. But those other women, certain other women playing games upon them. I would have canceled this ish. Yikes. Run, Felicia. I refuse to marry a man that I don't trust. We are meant to obey our husbands. Oh, so we're like, oh, wait, what? We said, okay, we're meant to obey our husbands as we trust they will always do what's best for us. And money ain't ish. I see miserable rich couples and blissful, happy, broke couples all the time. That's a rarity she's talking about, but that's kind of a counter thought. I refuse to marry a man that I don't trust. Wouldn't that be logical sense in general? But you think she's gonna trust him consistently? Don't work like that, right? Right? Because how many get into their feelings? This is nothing funny about that. Agreed wholeheartedly. Definitely agree with this picture. Look at that. He says, I'm out. But that's when numbers of males, but especially numbers of American black males, when they have confidence in themselves, they know for what, how many other women are here in society? How many numbers of black women are here in society? If one ain't acting right, you go to the next one. Please. But then you have to grow in your mind and understand the confidence. And quite a number of men don't have confidence in America. Quite a number of American black men within America don't have confidence. And it's done on purpose. And that is developed over time, especially in the youth. Right? So as they grow up, they look upon certain numbers of women as goddesses, numbers of black American youth. They are trained because it's a small percentage of black actually male teachers, to my decent male teachers in schools, and it's done on purpose to make sure there's not enough black American male teachers. They don't sit there and go out of their way to sit and say, we must have more black American teachers. I don't sit there and go in feelings talking about there is some, we're not playing that tactic compared to how many times, how many situations that people blatantly, they go out there, we must put more women in this area. We must have women in that area. I'm tired of the good old boys network trying to hold women down. Well, you got to do, you see I'm coming from, right? They ain't doing that to black males specifically in teaching either in other areas. It's done on purpose. She wants to be a woman of her her word. I like her, right? Use his money, but don't use yours, girl. See how this goes, right? That man is in big trouble, and right on cue, the black women, the ones applies to, in the comment section, condone this. Mm, 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 mm. One last time.
In sickness
In sickness
and in health.
and in health.
To love,
To love,
cherish,
cherish,
and to obey.
Ooh, we didn't talk about that one in counseling.
We did talk about that in counseling. Yes, we did. So you want me to repeat that again? You want to just keep going?
I think we can keep going.
I saw nothing funny about that either. If it was vice versa, you think that crowd have been laughing? You think that crowd have been laughing? Of course not. Of course not. Let me play this again, this particular powerful quote. Again, if more males, but especially more Black American males in America, had more true confidence in themselves, or there'd be major changes. Not in the change of saying, okay, more Black women, more Black American women. I'm not talking about the numbers of small numbers of good Black women. We're talking about the ones that are assistive cast member type mentality, where they're going to change because we have more, because they're going to see we have more confidence. Who cares what they think? You have more confidence because it's for that person's benefit first.
Your self-worth is non-negotiable. Never settle for anything or anyone that diminishes it.
That's powerful, right? And this nonsense right here, watch this.
Many women say they are finding it very hard to find a man who makes as much as they do. That the country's declining marriage rate is due to the lack of financially eligible bachelors. Researchers say they are seeing a trend of women dating down, which means, a man who, this is just the reality of it. So women, we're more educated now. We're going to hold off on the baby making. We're going to hold off until we get that great job, really career driven. And I don't think there's anything wrong with hoping that there's someone either on your level or higher than you.
So before, right, it was okay when the man made more money to be the one to buy everything, to do, treat you and all this other kind of stuff. And now that you make more money, you can't be that one because you're dating down. I hate that. What is that? If there's a responsibility that comes with making more money, accept it. You wanted to make more money. Right. Are you going to find many men out there that makes as much as you do?
I can myself left to say. All right.
And look at how she looks. However, her personally, don't care. But I smell sisterhood of chaos member. Right? Now, if the Black man says, you know what, I expect you to have a natural face. I don't want to see 10 pounds of war paint. I don't want to see forest weave on there. Or at least if you're going to have weave, make it look nice and natural as best as possible. Do you understand? I don't want to see snuffleupagus eyebrows all over the place. You understand? And let me tell you what she's going to do toward that Black male. If he says, you want all this stuff from a Black male, but you don't want to sit there and give him natural look, right? Or a slight bit of makeup. No wrong, a slight bit, not 10 pounds of war paint. The Black male says, Black American male says, hey, I need for you to sit there and have your hair a little bit more natural. Okay, you want to have a little bit of weave? Okay, this is modern day, but he don't want to see forest weave, right? You understand? This is what you're going to be like. You can't tell a Black woman to do. Y'all trying to control black women. She be doing like this also. She'll do what now? Yeah, you can't tell a Black woman what to do. But at the same time, numbers of sister of cast members, they can tell a Black man what to do. Oh, God dang. It's a sad scenario of time that's happening more and more. And it's done on purpose by this brilliant system. Because right next to this supremacist system is the perpendicularness of the mad, deranged, discombobulated, monotonous of mentality feminists, right? And again, they have a hatred for their own men within personnel within the Panamis culture. And numbers of these women from a sectionality, Panamis culture, once applied to, and some Anglo adjacent ones, and some other ones that wish they was certain like how they look at certain numbers of women in the Panamis culture as goddesses. You get the point over and over and over again, right? But the predominant one, just like the true DI receivers, the true affirmative action receivers, is certain numbers of women within the Panamis culture, right? That they play tactics upon their own numbers of males. And unfortunately, certain numbers of those males are extremely gullible. And I've said this enough. I can't say this enough. I've seen too many times when I've observed numbers of males within the Panamis culture being blatantly disrespected by their wives within a certain part of Panamis culture. Literally, I'm watching how she's literally disrespecting him. As an example, one time I was in Harvard grocery place, and this particular male, I mean, he was an in shape type of fellow, athletic build, and guess that meant nothing in her eyes. She looks like more of a big old giant tractor trailer tire. And at the same time, now again, teacher his own of what I find beautiful, because there are numbers of me who don't want a strictly super skinny woman, right? But in this situation, I'm just giving an example. She had no thought pattern. She had no right at all how she looked. I'm talking about literally extremely super below average on a logical analysis. And so they had a couple of kids, and she was I guess she told him to go get something, and he came back with it, and he had his head down because she started going off him. It was like, but that's not what I told you to get. I'm sitting there saying, say, man, have a backbone too. Just saying. But again, the number within certain types of American Black womanism, the ones applies to, especially the sister of cast members, they're getting worse in their thought patterns, in their derangement. And I truly hope a little bit more Black American men are going to get tired of that and said, why do we need to settle? We don't. Do you know this is a modern day 21st century? And Black males have more options than numbers of women within certain sections of the Panamis, certain women within the American Black womanism, especially sister of cast members. How many other options that American Black men have? And then when those type of American Black men understand their true options, here we go with certain numbers of American Black women. The ones applies to the sister of cast members. Oh, look at them. They hate their Black mom. What if his mom ain't Black? Right? And at the same time, who cares what numbers? It's like, who cares what these numbers of sister of cast members say? However, ignoring their blatant animosity toward Black American men is also just as worse, or closer as worse. Because if you don't sit there, some numbers of Black males, American Black males, do not push back, say, hey, no. We can't let them sit there just animosityless across the board, just blatant disrespect American Black males. Can't let you do that overall. Now, that don't mean to argue down some of these crazy, illogical numbers of sister of cast members, but it's just saying you must push back in the constructive way, whatever that might be. There's a time to ignore, but at the same time, this is the 21st century, 2026. More Black American males got to push back. And it's like, okay, they don't want to push back certain ones, not a problem. But there is a problem. One thing, there are certain numbers of American Black men who, when they date outside their race, they get all kind of, they get kind of meekness a little bit, as if they're doing wrong. You be like, piss off. So numbers of Black women, numbers of sister of cast members can date outside the race when they want. But when a Black American man dates outside his race, that's a problem. Man, they don't go to HELL with that hypocrisy. When the majority of Black males are in relationships with Black American males, just like numbers of women within the Panamis culture in relationship with the predominant-based culture of males, just like numbers of certain number of Hispanics within certain sections of that, they with the predominant base of their cultures. Do you understand? That's logical sense. But it's like, this is often that's a whole different topic, because certain type of Asian women date outside the race anyway, a little bit more in some other situations. But I don't want to go on all that, because Asia is a continent, and people have put the generic word Asia some sectionality when Asia is a continent. But that's the whole game in itself. I'm just saying more Black American men better start having some confidence in themselves more, not false confidence. That ain't going to do it. And more Black American males need to sit there and be able to get around, when opportunities come up, other true like-minded Black males. I'm not talking about monetary externalism type Black males. That's atrociousness, unfortunately. And because that's what permeates certain sections of America within American Black maleism, the maternalism and the externalism, materialistic stuff. That means nothing in this truth supremacy system, which is a whole different topic in itself. But you get around like-minded, true thinking Black males, Black American males, who understand that this life has nothing to do with just having money, right? Has nothing to do with only having money. But you must value yourselves and know that you need nothing from a Sister of Chaos member. I thank you for tuning in to this show. And if it was something that's interesting, please consider subscribing to the channel and possibly liking the video. Again, I thank you for tuning into this show and this topic on this situation. I hope this was enjoyable on this.